get to a point where he cuts Luke Skywalker's right hand off, and Luke is kind of hanging over the edge, and they're having this little dialogue back and forth, and Darth Vader says to Luke, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father, did he? I know all the lines. Okay. This is I could have gone through the whole movie, you know. I could have given you all I know all of mine. I've seen the movie like 1,000 million times. So he said, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father, did he? Luke says, he told me enough. He told me you killed him. And Darth Vader says, and this is the line, no, I am your father. I had to do it. I had to do it. But he says, no, I am your father. Now, that's the title of today's message. Really doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars. Really, this has a lot to do with something that went on with Kaylee and I a few weeks ago. And I didn't say, well, I am your father. I said, I'm your dad. But I wanted to throw that in there because I just thought this is an excellent opportunity to get a Star Wars reference, you know, and then show my ability to imitate Darth Vader. So the title of today's message is, I am your father. Now, a few weeks ago, Kayla and I were at home, and she wanted to do a trust building exercise. So she said, Dad, I'm going to fall back, and I want you to catch me. So I said, okay. I stood up. This is me. Kaylee's like right here. And she falls back. I'm like, no. You're just leaning. I said, you need to fall. Fall back and let me catch you. So I said, move away from me, move far away, and fall back, and I will catch you. So she listened. She took a few steps out. She went to fall back. She got here, stuck her leg out. Kayla, that's not falling. Fall back, and I will catch you. Okay. There goes again. I said, stop putting your leg out. Fall back. I will catch you. I am your dad. I love you more than anything in the world. I am not going to let my little girl get hurt. Fall back and I will catch you. So we do it again. Leg comes out. Finally, she falls. She falls back. I mean, stiff as a board. She falls back. Being the wonderful dad that I am, I catch her like right here. I mean, she's just like inches off the ground. She's like, Dad! Well, I caught you. I said, did you hit the ground? No, it doesn't matter where I catch you, just as long as I catch you. Whether I catch you up here or I catch you down here, you're caught. You didn't fall, you didn't get hurt. Because I'm your dad, and I love you, and you should just trust me. So, believe it or not, as someone always said, that brings us to Scripture. Scripture today is found in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Gene, only 2. It's only 2 verses. You know what that means? We're going to be here until 3 o'clock. That's page 908 in Q Bible. Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. This is a familiar scripture. You've probably heard before. Here we go. Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. This is one of those passages of Scripture that is so simple. Trust in the Lord. Lean not to your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him. Make your path straight. It is so easy. Like a lot of things in the Christian life, on paper, they seem easy. When it comes to applying it to our lives, that's what we have the difficulty. So I want to talk today about trust. The first word, trust. We're to trust God wholeheartedly. So, like Kaylee came to me, Dad, I want to trust you. Okay. So I'm going to do this thing, and you catch me. Okay. We go to God. God, I'm going to trust you to do whatever it is we do, whether it's finances or, relationship things or health or whatever. I'm going to go to you. I'm going to trust you. So we tell him we're going to trust him. We lean back, stick the leg out. We say we're going to trust. We go to God. I put my trust in you, God. I know who you are. You'll never let me down. And as soon as we get going, we stick our leg out, just like Haley did. Can't trust her dad. But we are to trust God wholeheartedly. Isaiah 26:4 says, trust in the Lord forever, for in God we have an everlasting rock. In Jeremiah 29:13 it says, and you will seek me and find me when you search for me with your whole heart. We want to put God to the test. We want to trust him. Like I said, we always get in the way. Remember a few weeks ago I was on that side, and I told a story about how I was a kid and we'd be watching TV or whatever, and I'm talking or I'm up with that, going to the bathroom, going to the kitchen, moving around in front of the TV, getting in the way. Now, she's here today. She's going to lie. She's going to lie, okay? Because she's in church and she wants to put on, a good show for you. She's going to lie. Her and my dad would say, sit down and shut up. Am I lying?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, Andrea, just move away from her. Because that lightning hits, those pews are going up. Our issue with trust is that we get in the way. We want to trust God. We lay things at his feet. And as soon as we lay it at his feet, here we go out. Now we're trying to finagle and work and do different things. But how is that trust? And how many times has God ever let you down? Has God ever let anyone down? So why is it that every time we come to him, we treat him as if he's let us down before? I think a lot of the issues with trusting God is that we kind of project our own insecurities onto him. We let ourselves down, we let other people down, so we figure, well, God at some point is going to let us down. He never lets us down. I have never been let down by God. He's caught me 6 inches into the fall. He's caught me, a quarter of an inch off the ground. But whatever the case is, I put my trust in God, and he has never let me down. He's never let any of us down. Whatever he promises to do, he will do. Our problem is we want it done, like we say the prayer here today, we want it handled yesterday. Well, God's timing is always way better than our time. If you ever ask for something and God gave it to you too late? No. We're impatient. We rush God. So what we're saying is, well, we know better than you. We know better than you, God. What I'm trusting you for, give it to me now. I want protection from something. Give it to me now. I'm falling. Catch me before I even lean back. Just hold me up. But sometimes there are lessons to be learned. Sometimes he'll catch you here. When he's really trying to teach you something, you're like, a sheet of paper off the ground. But it all depends on where you are at that point in your life, what you're asking for, and most is he trying to teach you? Let's trust. The next is lean. And see, our issue with trusting God and leaning on him is that we have this self-confidence, or we are self-efficient, that we can handle everything, and that plays a lot into trying to run out and do things ourselves. Coming to him, asking him to handle a situation, and then going out and doing whatever. Every time I try to jump ahead of God, I wind up messing it up. God reaches out to give us a hand. We want to do things our way. We mess it up. It's never God that messes it up. It is always us. 1 Corinthians 10:12 says, "Therefore let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall." So when we're supposed to be leaning on God, but instead of leaning on God, we're going to stand on our own, and we're not putting our trust in him. Whatever it is that we're putting our trust in him, we're going to have an issue with. But then who do we turn to blame? We blame God. Think about when you were a kid, or think parents, you have kids. Who do they blame when stuff goes wrong in their life? They blame mom and dad. Don't you? You blame mom and dad. Because it's just easy. You know, it's just easy. Because you know that the person who has your back the most, you can always kind of turn and vent on them. But whenever we jump ahead of God, jump ahead of our Heavenly Father to do whatever it is that we've asked him to do, and because he's not doing it when we said, when we want, how we want, and then things get messed up, you want to turn and blame God. If you're going to trust, you got to lean. You can't stand on your own. I mean, you think you can't get yourself into heaven. Only God can get you into heaven. And you trust him with that. But you can't trust him with your finances. You can't trust him with relationships. You can't trust him with job searches. Whatever it is that's going on in your life, you can't trust him with those things that are, in the grand scheme of things, are insignificant. But you can trust him with your eternal future, which is a home with him in heaven. So think about that. Don't stand on your own. Lean on God. He wants us leaning on him. That's why he's there. He's our Heavenly Father. He's given us a place in heaven. He's handling the big stuff. He sweats the small stuff too. Give everything over to God. Our next is acknowledge him. That's giving a testimony. Who is the most difficult person to give a testimony to of God's goodness? Is it the non-believer? Is it a fellow Christian? No, it's yourself. The hardest person to give a testimony to is yourself, because when you're in the midst of things, we get amnesia. We seem to forget about all the good things that God has done for us. But if Rick is going through something, I think, Rick, God's got you. He's going to hold you up. He's going to support you. He's going to give you everything you need. Read your Bible. I can sit up here. I can tell everyone what they need to do with their life concerning whatever situation it is that's going on. But when it comes to Charles, well, then I have the greatest difficulty. I can give everyone a testimony of something that's going on in my life that may apply to theirs. But when it comes to me, I'm the hardest person to convince. And think about that. You can sit and you can give advice to this one and that one and the other, but when it comes to you, you can't seem to remember anything that's happened before. You understand? Mm-hmm. Like, we are the most difficult people to reassure. Think about any tough time that's come along in your life. You forget everything that you've ever gone through, because and that's the trick of the enemy. so focused on one little pinpoint that you can't see everything else. He kind of tries to blind you to all the blessings that God has given you. Always keep in remembrance what God has done. I'll give you an example. It's like some years ago. There was I don't normally worry about financial things because I know that God has always found a way. But there was this one instance where I, for whatever reason, allowed it to get to me. So I was so distraught with this. I got down by the side of the bed and I started praying, and I probably wasn't 2 or 3 words into the prayer when I heard this voice say, "Have I ever let you down before?" And I heard that voice plain as day. That's not the normal voice that I hear all the time in my head, when I'm talking to myself. It's not that voice. That was clearly God's Spirit saying to me, "Have I ever let you down before?" And when I heard that, I immediately stopped. I got up and I started praising God and asking for forgiveness for doubting Him, because He's never let me down. And there have been, without getting too personal, there have been some really tough times. I'm sure we can all think back of some really tough times that we've had with finances, especially in this economy. Still have my cars, still have a roof over my head, still have clothes on my back, food in my stomach. Because God takes care of those, He takes care of those things. So whenever it is that you're feeling down, or whenever you're feeling a level of mistrust or worry or doubt, we always have to take time, stop, think, and remember the things that God has done for us. Sit down and shut up. Get down in God's way and let Him bless you. The last is key. It speaks of God's guidance. God guides us through every situation and circumstance. When you think God isn't a part of it, He is. People who don't believe in God, guess what? God's guiding their life. God's in control of every single thing in this universe. He's giving you guidance. When Kayla and I did that trust building exercise, guess what? I gave her guidance. Because now she knows, if she didn't know before, which I can't understand why, her dad loves her. Her dad won't let anything happen to her. Her dad will not let her date or get married. Neither will her brothers. So she learned, she got guidance from me, knowing that I have her. I'm not going to let anything hurt her. So then we had that guidance also. That when we fall, and we're leaning on God, He has us. And then He's going to pick us up, and He's going to guide us through whatever course it is that He wants us to go through, whatever hardship, whatever joys, whatever it is, He's going to guide us through and teach us a lesson. Everything that God does in our life is a teachable lesson. He's trying to show us something. He's trying to show us who He is and who He is through us. So when we fall and He catches us, or when He tells us to go here and to go there and to go to the other place, and then we get to a certain point in our life and we wonder, how did I get here and everything is working out so great? It's not because of anything you did. It's because of what God did. I've told this story before. I had some bad jobs. I was working 2 bad jobs. At one of the bad jobs, I met this guy. He said, "Hey, come to Vanguard, and you can get a job in the mailroom." It was a good place to work. So I go to Vanguard, I get the job, I start in the mailroom. After a year, I move to another department. I'm in this department 6 months. They hire this woman. This woman was like in love with me from the first time she saw me. was just stalking me, watching me. I was scared at first, okay? But, so I had to be friends with this woman, and then I married her. But in the process of that, I wound up here. So if you're mad about the fact that I'm giving this message today, you can blame Jamie because I met her and she told me about, talked to me about going to church, and then we came here, and then I felt God's call upon my life to minister. I had nothing to do with any of that. It was just, I was obedient. God spoke to someone to get to me, and I took a job. Really had no idea what I was doing, but all along, he was guiding my steps to put me where he wanted me to be at a certain time. No idea. So thankful I didn't run from that stalker lady. No, I stalked her. Truth be told, I stalked her. But that is like the greatest instance in my life, or example in my life of how God guided my steps. Because when I was 20, 25, 26, I was a moron. You know? Like most people 24, 25 years old, they're absolute idiots. You know? We just have no clue what's going on in our life, but if we're quiet, if we listen to that still small voice, God is going to guide us and get us wherever it is that he wants us to go. And if we're obedient, he will give us success. He will show us success and give us the life that we have always dreamed of, we've always wanted. So kids, listen to your parents, especially those parents that love you to death. Just listen to your mom, because I see her looking at me. Okay? Kaylee, remember your dad loves you. He'll never let anything hurt you. Boy, you're just a couple steps away from being the man that you want to be. Trust those people that love you, especially trust God. Now, if you look at these letters that I gave you, I didn't even mean to do this. The first letter is T for trust. The second letter is L for lean. The third is A for acknowledge. And the last is H for him. Now, if you take that, T-L-A-H, and turn it around, it is H-A-L-T, halt. So when you think about trusting God, you need to stop, you need to halt. Stop, listen, sit down, shut up like my mom said, get out of the way, and let God do his work. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not into your own understanding, in all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path